Hello, everyone. This is Sophie from Bridal Poltero, and we have.
White Mountain Dreaming, Robin.
Hi, I'm very sorry about Wednesday, guys and Robin. The sound didn't work out, so we're having a redo of the Humpback Day, and it is on the environment. So this is going to be a very quick redo, and we're looking at the from the West Coast to the Maritimes provinces. So it is both Canada and the U.S.
So North America.
North America, yeah, North America. And so we've already spread our cards. They're not exactly the same as they were on Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure the story is going to be the same. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. Do you want to start, Robin?
I actually got it as I was shuffling the second time. A card popped out of the deck, so that's always significant. And it's the Emperor.
Oh,
So what I get is basically the Earth is in charge of the weather patterns, or 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 it could even be no. I take this back. We are in charge of the weather patterns because the Emperor is human. It's not Gaia. Gaia would be like the Empress or the world. That
okay.
would be. But the Emperor is very patriarchal, domineering energy. So maybe Spirit is telling us that the weather is really affected by humanity, by us, by humans. That we are the reason why the weather is so crazy right now, which would go into climate change. I mean, there's a whole controversy. Some people say this is just the planet doing its cycles, and then other people say no, humans have caused this level of climate change.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, for the West Coast, I got the death card with the devil
Ooh,
and the sun.
wow, what do you think that means?
I think it's big. I think basically this is a major transition, that's for sure. That's a major transition that we're going through, especially on the West Coast. Too much sun. I'm taking those cards literally. Too much sun, not enough rain. Whatever little rain that we have, we're not using it wisely. We're using it selfishly. We're using it for corporations or farms that are not necessarily, how can I say this? We're not being wise with the way we're farming and the way we're using the water as it pertains to farming. And because of that, this is a big transition. So I also see here there's a heart, and I feel that this is the Three of Swords, a broken heart. You know, very big difficulties. And the other thing too is I do see the stretcher with the doctor and people being, their health being impacted by that. All of that because of our addictions to our own comfort and our addiction to making a buck as opposed to using our farming lands wisely. And with the sun, really it would be reversed, and all I see are those those tiles here. I see them falling off, falling down. So for some reason, so and the toddler, when a toddler walks, it's shaky.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have the same cards as Wednesday where we saw an earthquake, but I still feel it in these cards. They're major. They're major, major cards. The impact on the weather is great. It's
Well,
great.
I live in an agricultural area, so what's happening is water rights are really it's very controversial right now. There are water irrigation canals that are allow the farmers to use water. They don't have to go into the main water source for the humans. This is like a natural water source. It's been turned off. So the farmers are really hurting right now because that was a low cost way of watering their crops. And now it's been turned off because of the drought, and farmers are up in arms because, you know, it's their livelihood. But also, you know, this area furnishes fruit primarily for the entire West Coast. So it's a big deal.
Are they giving it to the almond farmers?
I don't know. Almonds are in California. I'm in
Yeah.
Oregon.
Oh,
It's
okay. I'm
not
just thinking. Yeah, that's true.
It
I was
might be,
thinking about that. Yeah, there might
because
be.
California's in the same drought, but here it's pears and peaches and cannabis. It's a huge cannabis area because it's the perfect climate and wine country. You know, there's a lot of vineyards here, and the vineyards are really suffering. I know they don't know what kind of a harvest they're going to have this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But very quickly, the West Coast for me, the Eight of Pentacles, so working hard, and then the Six of Swords reversed. So that could mean a lot of things. I'll just put the third card, and then the Fool. So what I get is that they're working hard to find a solution, but it's the wrong solution.
Oh,
Um, that they're just not looking at the big picture, or they're not, okay, they're not willing to step out of their comfort zone, or go outside the box. That the solution to the current problems right now require a very creative solution, and the powers that be just don't have that level of creativity in them. So it's going to look like we're doing something, right? Because people are hard at work. People are trying to get past this very difficult period, but it's not the right solution.
yeah. That's different. That's tough. Okay, for the Rockies or the Midwest, I have the Four of Discs. I have the Seven of Wands, and I have the Six of Wands. Yeah, the Six of Wands. I think that right now we're going to do okay, but there is power. This is the card for power. Hang on to what we have. That's the one thing with the Four Pentacles. But the other thing too is we've talked about that on Wednesday about the big oil company and the call it the dirty oil, which is the oil sand or sand oil or something like that, with the pipeline going down in the U.S. This here is about valor and taking the higher ground. When we go low, we go high. This is, I'm going like that again. I don't know if it was for this the Rockies that I had gone like that the last time or not, but I'm going like that again. The same with the Six of Wands. It's sideways because we have some things where we are doing better. We are trying to get things going better, and we are succeeding at that. But there are other things where, you know, where it comes for money, when it comes to money and to using our natural resources, we're abusing it. And because of that, you know, things are going to degrade. Now, for the Rockies, I'm trying to see. I don't see that. I see a mix of rain. I don't see any huge water pattern. You might see that. I think we did see it in the last reading. I don't see it in this one. But it doesn't mean that what's happening there is not going to impact the rest of the continent.
Right. I actually do see the water. So
Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay.
what I got was the Three of Wands reversed,
Yeah.
moving forward with a plan, the 10 of Wands, which means that plan was too much. It was not fully thought out, so it became too much. But what's interesting is the last card is the moon. So there's a couple ways to go with this. So one, I immediately thought of water because the moon uh,
Yeah.
influences all the water cycles, the oceans. Although the Midwest is not by an ocean, there are very large waterways in the Midwest. So this to me represents flooding. Um, Not in the Rockies, but in the plains, the Great Plains in the Midwest,
Yeah.
and also delusion.
Yeah. We're deluding ourselves.
Right,
And it's funny because the mountains at the back of the moon card reminded me of water as opposed to mountains.
right,
I
right.
saw the pillars in the water when I look at your card.
And
Absolutely.
they could be water towers too.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So for the East Coast, I get the Prince of Cups, which is basically the King of Cups. I have the Knight of Swords, and I have the Eight of Pentacles. So we're hard at work. They call him the filmmaker. And look at how he is looking at everything, how he's studying everything. And that's basically what's happening right now. We're studying everything, but not see, he's looking at a frame. You know, when they film, they look at a frame, and not everything is going to fit in that frame. I also see this light at the back as if it's the moon.
Hmm.
And it goes in join with what you've been mentioning for the Midwest. And here we have the Knight of Cups. Is it the Knight of Cups? No, the Knight of Swords, which is basically you're rushing into things and you're just going to fall flat on your face. So, and I'm seeing this reverse. It's not reversed, but I'm seeing this in reverse. Um, I see if you look at the Rider Waite with the Eight of Pentacles,
Hmm.
it's as if the guy is sitting on the bench, but all the pentacles are falling off. Yeah, all the pentacles are falling off on the ground. That's basically what I'm saying. I see water here, and so there's going to be a lot of. I see here a a cruise boat upside down, and yeah, hurricanes, which would go with this night coming in. It's very, very stronger than before, and basically they are going to eat up lands on the East Coast. I go by the images.
Yeah, no, that's good. Actually, what you said about your reading makes my reading make more sense.
Oh, okay, good.
So the first card is the King of Pentacles reversed. So the King of Pentacles is, Pentacles are slower moving,
Yeah.
but this particular card is about, a business. It's the businessman card. It's about someone who thinks about the money, thinks about the budget. It's not a bad thing. They're very steady. They're the money manager. But when it's upside down, what I'm getting is whoever is managing the money is just not managing it properly.
Okay.
And then the second card is the Ten of Cups reversed. So unhappiness, great unhappiness. And then the final card is the Three of Cups reversed. So cups being water, and then, Pentacles being the money managers, the government officials. What I got when you were talking was all about Florida, because Florida is going through a major crisis. It is the brunt of most hurricanes. And
Yeah.
right now we're dealing with a terrible infrastructure and a governor who doesn't really seem to understand the situation.
No. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that, yeah. And your reading is making my reading make more sense.
Yes.
Because for the Maritimes, I got, yeah, okay. The 10 of discs, I see it again upside down, and I see, you know how gold is very heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to fall on our shoulders, all the heaviness. So in the Maritimes, things are going to be very heavy. I see the star card. I'm just going to go back to that. I see the Three of Wands, fire truck, emergencies, emergency people moving in. I see fires, which is very strange for the Maritimes. Very strange. I hope it's not Fundy National Park. I love that place. But I love everywhere there's forest, but I know that place and got great memories there. So I hope nobody's gonna get hurt. But I see forest fires in the Maritimes, which I did not see the last time. And with the star card, a lot of I see this bottle of pop here. Just that's all I see. I don't see a wish upon a star or wishes being granted or anything like that. I don't see. Oh. With the fires, when you are in the Maritimes, you see the stars, you see the sky, which is something that we don't see everywhere else very often in other places, especially in urban areas. I miss that. And sometimes I feel that the stars are going to be hidden by those fires.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I see for the Maritimes.
Well, I got some interesting cards. I know nothing about the Maritimes. I know you live there, so in a way, I'm happy when I know nothing about the target or the subject because then I know that it's the cards that are speaking and
Right.
not my ego. So the first card I got was the Knight of Cups. So I feel like the Maritimes is an area that is very blessed in terms of its people. What I get is its people are important, and
Absolutely.
that's the Prince Charming presenting, the cup, the emotion, the relationship. So I think relationships are really important in the Maritime. And
Absolutely.
and then the second card is the Six of Pentacles reversed. So it means like really sharing things, like not doling out in equal measure, to really just give unconditionally. And I think the reason why they're giving unconditionally is we got this once before, but I don't think it was for the Maritimes. It was the Magician reverse. I think they need to, and this kind of complements what you just said. They really need to keep their land secure. Something's going on with the land. It might be the fire, but it also might be the ocean. They may be in crisis and they need to protect their land.
Yeah.
Could
There's,
be like sandbagging around the shores,
yeah.
but also internally, maybe people are going to move inland a little bit, and then maybe the inland areas will be in danger because of too many people in a pristine land, and that could be the fire.
I need to do something, Robin, very, very quick. I need to read about St. John. St. John is where the Irvings are, and they have a big refinery there. The biggest refinery, I think, at least in Eastern Canada. It's huge. And as you were talking about the people protecting the land, I'm just wondering, and I saw the fire, and yeah, the people are amazing over there. I just want to read on the Irving refinery just quickly. So you feel that we're missing something. We're not aware of everything, and we need to keep an eye on that as Maritimers. And the first thing that popped into my mind was Irving. Okay, well, I got the the page of sword. They're hiding something. They're good at that. They're hiding something, and to in order to make money, which creates some. Well, there are going to be bad news about it. That's for sure, and there's going to be also. Although it's reversed, I do feel that there are going to be people who are going to be broken or are going to be hurt. They're going to be hurt by how stubborn they can be and how difficult that they can be with, it's Irving is good for their people in a way, but in another way, it's my way or the highway. And they do that a lot. So decisions will need to be made as to which direction to take with the refinery, which is a huge employer in St. John, New Brunswick. I haven't seen any explosion or anything like that, so I'm glad. But I don't know. Makes makes me wonder. We'll see. We'll see what happens. One of the things that we mentioned in our last recording was how important it was to be prepared for all those changes, because it doesn't matter how much you want it, climate change exists. Climate change affects the earth itself, the crust of the earth, and the weather pattern, and the geology, everything, the oceans, currents, the current in the ocean. So we talked about taking some safety precautions to be ready, store food, and then you mentioned
Right.
bugging out.
So everyone in every region at this point in time should really have a bug out bag. And that is a small bag with about 3 days worth of supplies for yourself. This is not food. This is basically um, clothes, shoes. If you take any medications, as I do, 3 days worth of medications, toiletries, just a travel toiletry item. So it doesn't have to be very big. And either it can be in your car or it can be by the door. And if you have pets, the same thing. Have your carrier near the door and have at least 3 days worth of food for your pet. And I have a cat, so I have a little small litter box in my car with a bag of litter. So I know, because I live in fire country, I know that if I need to leave very quickly, that I don't need to think about it, because I was in a fire and I did not get anything out of my house outside of my cat. And so I had nothing. And so I have a very strong understanding of what I need for 3 days now.
Yeah.
And then in terms of pantries, if you live in a place where there's like severe weather patterns, where you may not be able to get out of your house. I lived up in the mountains, and if there was a snowstorm, we were stuck, and sometimes stuck for weeks on end. We all had a pantry. So all that means, you don't need to go out and buy hundreds of dollars worth of food. It just means that every time you go to the grocery store, buy a couple of cans or some dry food that you can put together quickly. So I have a lot of protein bars because they're very easy to transport. I have a lot of canned beans. So whatever your comfort level is, but just make sure that you have a little stash of food, just in case for whatever reason you're not going to be able to leave your house right away.
Yeah. Another thing, is having a fondue set. One of the things that you can do with fondue set is make all that food that Robin was talking about that is canned, and that is not dangerous. It's not dangerous like having a barbecue running in your house or having a gas stove, like a camping gas stove running in your house. That is a big no-no. Even if the window is open, you don't do that. But with a Chinese fondue set, that's what I call it. It's a fondue set. Um, you can do
They
that.
in the US, it's what you see at the Asian restaurants where you're cooking your own food. So it's a butane hot plate.
Okay.
That's a fondue set.
Okay. So that's one. Yeah, that's a fondue set. Yeah, and the other one is when you it's with a candle under the pot
Oh,
or a little canister where you put some oil in it. That
yes.
is where you can melt water, where you can heat up your food, soup, and things like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So you're talking about like sterno, that you can put underneath the fondue, the pot.
yeah,
And sterno is just, it's just a more
yeah.
powerful heat. And then you're just boiling water.
You can boil water. You can make soup. You can make. You can melt snow for water, flushing water. I might add. Just be careful about that. It's flushing water. If you when we had the big ice storm in Montreal, well, it extended all the way to New Brunswick. We didn't have a big power outage like they did. We only had 5 days. But I was on a well. No power means no water.
Right.
So, we were melting snow to flush the toilet. We were melting snow to wash the dishes or even clean ourselves so that we could save the drinking water for drinking and cooking. And the other thing too is when there is a huge power outage, even if the weather is really, really bad out there, just have at least one or two windows, just a tiny crack open so that there's air circulation and you avoid the di- uh, carbon
Monoxide. It's monoxide.
monoxide poisoning. That's very important. And sleep in groups. I know it's not very it's you warm each other up during the winter. I'm a winter person, so those are the things that I think about the most. And
And every garage sale has a fondue set.
yes, they should keep it because they're very, very useful, and fondue is so good. Chinese fondue is very good. Chinese.
Also, I went to the dollar store and I bought a bunch of these really cheap flashlights. They're LEDs, so I don't have to worry about batteries. I have about four of them in my house, and I have them in very strategic areas because we did have a power outage because of the intense heat. I also have tea lights, but because I am a fire survivor, I have them in covered candle holders. It's very safe, and I
Yeah.
always make sure they're in a very safe place. But I have several hundred tea lights and several packages of matches, and that actually came in handy when we had the power outage. Because I knew where everything was, and I was able to get my flashlights and get my tea lights together, and I had enough light to get by until the power went back on.
Yeah. So that's very good. I need more of those. Um,
Dollar, they're very handy. They're
they're
very
very handy
powerful.
and they're cheap, and yeah, they are powerful. Absolutely. The other thing too is in the winter, again, I'm back to the winter, even though we're the summer, dress in layers as opposed to making a huge fire to warm yourself up. Dress in layers and cuddle. So make sure you're with someone you like, at
Yeah,
least.
and someone who's vaccinated.
Yes, absolutely. Or wear your mask. And yeah, no, seriously, that's very important too. So, do you have anything else that you can think of?
No, I think we've covered it. I mean,
Yeah.
just be practical. Don't get obsessed.
No.
Um, it just takes like one day of kind of, organizing yourself and figuring out what you need. And then, just have the bug out bag in a place that is easy for you to get, because sometimes you only have 5 minutes to get out of your house and you want to be able to have enough. Like, oh, yes, one other thing, documents. I lost all of my documents in the
Oh, yeah.
fire. And so it's really important. And I lost all of my technology, it all burned. So I had an external hard drive, but it burned. So what I do now, and this is a personal choice, I just chose to do it, is I scanned all of my important documents and I put it on the cloud. And that way, no matter where I am, my important documents are with me electronically. Um, a few years ago, I would have never done that, but having gone through what I went through, having an electronic version of everything that's important in my life actually gives me a great deal of peace of mind.
That's a good point. Also, having a an exit strategy, like you mentioned before, you know, meeting
Yes,
points and
map out your exit strategy from your home. Because we're in fire country, each of the towns has put together an evacuation map. But I have my own evacuation plan, and I didn't have an alternative evacuation plan because I'm very close to the freeway. But there's a fireworks tent at the end of my corner, and I thought, oh, in terms of fire, that would be a bad thing. That would probably make explosions, right? Luckily, it's gone now. So I realized that my main evacuation route was probably not going to work if something like that happened, and that I needed an alternative in the other direction. So I figured that one out as well.
okay, that's very important. I've never had to go through that, but I've been in survival situation as a teenager because I was in training to be a survival specialist, to teach survival skills. The other thing that I would suggest is, those barbecues are nice. Those gas camping stove are nice. They're not to be used in the house nor the garage. Learn to make a fire if you need to, and to make it outside as opposed to always in the fireplace in your house, because there's been a lot of fires during the outages that where people basically lost their homes because they weren't careful. So be careful about that. Just know how to do things. Practice with your children also if anything's happened so that they know what's going on. That is actually going to make them feel more secure because they'll know if anything happens, mommy and daddy have a plan and I know what to do, and I'm going to go and meet them there, or I'm going to go and do that to help out. So, yeah, so we've been a little scattered, but I think we've covered pretty much everything. I've covered the winter, I know that.
There's one last thing that I want to add. When there's a catastrophic disaster, your cell phones aren't going to work because the towers will be down. And so what I did right after the fire is I met with my bubble. The bubble is the people that are closest to you, and you consider yourself, a family within the bubble. Um, have a meeting and figure out where you will go in terms of disaster. So for the bubble that I was in, we all decided to go south about an hour away, and that we were going to meet in the parking lot of this very large casino.
That's
And
good.
so if we were unable to get a hold of each other, we knew to meet each other there.
That's a good idea. In Quebec, I don't know in the rest of Canada, but I know that in Quebec there are emergency meeting points. They've never been used anyway in Quebec City that I know of, but I have two meeting points where I can go and meet my parents, and we live maybe 10 minutes walk away from each other, but still that's where we would be meeting to then go to my brother, whom is on higher grounds in the city. So because both my parents and I are living in a swamp. It's a nice swamp, but it's a swamp. So
So I think now we've covered everything.
I think so too.
This is not to scare anybody. It's
No.
just all sorts of things are happening. And this, I guarantee you, as someone who didn't have a plan, this will give you a great deal of peace of mind.
Exactly. And you may never need to use it, but if you
Exactly.
do, you're prepared. Good. Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching. And I guess we'll see you again next week. Again, I apologize for the no sound situation on Wednesday. And we did test, and this is working. So we don't have to worry about this video. We did test. So thank you very much, and you have a great evening. Bye-bye.